There is a song that does something strange to you. You have heard it before, maybe many times. But every time it plays, something opens. Not a memory exactly, more like the feeling of one. A place you have never been, a moment you never lived, a version of yourself that does not exist. And yet, it feels more real than most things that actually happened. You don't know why. Nobody told you music could do this. But it does it anyway. Every time. And the answer to why is one of the most beautiful things philosophy has ever found. For most of human history, this feeling had no name. People felt it. Composers wrote entire symphonies chasing it. Poets circled it without landing. Then in 2012, a writer named John Koenig began building a dictionary not of real words, of feelings that existed but had never been named. He called one of them anemoia, the nostalgia for a time you never lived, the longing for a place you have never been, the ache for a version of life that was never yours, but somehow feels like it should have been. He put a word to something millions of people had quietly carried their entire lives. Without knowing, others felt it too. And the moment people read that word, they recognized themselves in it completely. That is what your song is doing to you. It is not triggering a memory, it is not triggering anemoia, a homesickness for somewhere you have never been. The ancient Greeks believed music was not created by humans. It arrived through them. The word they used was mousiki, the art of muses, the divine beings whose job was to carry something eternal into the human world through sound. They were not being poetic. They genuinely believed that certain music came from somewhere beyond the composer, that it carried something older than the person playing it. Plato went further. He said music was dangerous, precisely because of this, that the right melody could bypass every rational defense a person had and reach something deeper, something older, something that knew things the conscious mind had forgotten. He was afraid of what music could unlock. And if you have ever had a song make you cry without knowing why, you understand exactly what he meant. Neuroscientists studying music discovered something that sounds almost impossible. When you hear a piece of music that moves you deeply, your brain activates the same regions it uses to process real autobiographical memories. Not similar regions, the same ones. The brain treats the emotional truth of the music as if it actually happened to you. As if the feeling the music carries is a memory you lived rather than a sound you heard. This is why the ache feels so specific. It is not vague emotion. It is the feeling of a particular place, a particular light, a particular version of an evening that somehow both exists and has never existed. Your brain is not confused, it is doing something deeply intentional. It is feeling the music next to your most personal experience because, emotionally, that is exactly where it belongs. Japan has a concept called ma, the meaningful space between things, the pause between two notes that gives the music its weight. Japanese composers understood something Western music took centuries to find, that the silence inside the music is as important as the sound. That what is not played is what the listener fills with their own longing, their own unnamed places, their own unlived moments. This is why the same song means something completely different to every person who hears it. The music does not arrive with meaning, it arrives with space. You fill that space with everything you have ever wanted and never had. The place you have been searching for, the evening that felt almost right, the version of your life that lives just beside the one you are living. The music opens the door, you are the one who steps through it. Here is the part that changes everything. That feeling of impossible nostalgia, that ache for a life you never lived, is not evidence of something missing. It is evidence of something present. The philosophers who studied beauty across every tradition arrived at the same quiet conclusion that longing is not lack, it is recognition. When music makes you ache for something you cannot name, your soul is not grieving a life it never got. It is recognizing a life it was always capable of. The place the music takes you is not fiction, it is the truest version of you hearing itself for a moment. The self that exists underneath the schedule, the noise, the ordinary Tuesday. Most people only meet that self in music, and they spend the rest of the time chasing the feeling without knowing what they are chasing. So, the next time a song does that to you, opens something, takes you somewhere, makes you ache for a place with no address, stay in it a little longer. Don't skip to the next track. Don't look at your phone. Just let the feeling arrive completely. Because what you are feeling is not confusion. It is not sadness. It is the most honest thing your inner life ever says to you. A reminder that somewhere inside you there is a version of yourself that knows exactly who you are supposed to become. And every once in a while, throw the right song at the right moment, that version of you sends a message. You just have to be quiet enough to hear it.